Good evening and welcome in the return of the PowerMizzou.com live show. This is going to be somewhat of a regular thing here going forward. We are literally 2 weeks and 1 hour from the season opener of Mizzou football. So Jarod Hamilton and I'm Gabe DeArmond. Jarod Hamilton's right there. Just popped him up on the screen. We're going to be with you guys once a week. Look, it might be Thursday nights. Some weeks it might be different. It won't be Thursday night in 2 weeks. We know that because exactly 2 weeks from now, we will be at Memorial Stadium for Mizzou Murray State. I know, Jarod, you are deep into the previews of that one. You're doing the research on the racers. You figure out what position John Morant plays, where Popeye Jones is going to fit in here.
No, no. I'll let I know Murray State is biggest game of the season, as they are every week. Each game is the biggest game of the season. But I'll let when that week comes. Let's get through training camp first, like Makai Miller said. Let's go ahead and get on that. Then when next week happens and they start preparing for camp, I'll dive in deep into the the game, the media manual things they have on their sites or the
game notes. Yep. So, hey, if you're joining us live, appreciate it. Comments, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Scott, appreciate having you here. Anybody that's here live with us, if you are listening later on the podcast, say some good things about us, share it on social media. We're trying to really build up the live audience, but also just people listening and watching over the course of the season. Hugely anticipated season, but Jarod, I think this next week that we're coming up on, I think it's legitimately the worst week of the year because we had media day and it was kind of like, okay, we're kind of started. And then we had the beginning of camp and we're like, oh, it's football season. But it's not really football season. And now we talked to 3 or 4 players today. We're going to go to the open practice on Saturday. We will talk to Eli Drinkwitz and the captains on Tuesday. But that's really it until a week from Sunday when we have media day and it's actually game week. So I think this next week, man, is kind of like you're here, but you're not here yet. It's kind of like I used to have to, when I lived in South Dakota, I would drive back to Kansas City and I would hit the Missouri border and I would think, oh, this is sweet. I'm in Missouri. I'm almost there. Oh man, I still got 4 hours left. This is not really all that great.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of you got to stick around. You can't go too far because we deal with this during the season. Like when I say getting a haircut or something, it's just like, all right, but you gotta be back in a good time. You can't be too far away. I can't just have a whole day to myself because you never know when news can happen. But yeah, that's what it feels like. You're kind of like, I'm here, but I don't have to be all the way here yet because nothing's really happening. So I get it.
A little bit happened. We'll get to it in a minute. I do want to say, Dakota, I feel like we should be on your TV. I'm just going to put that out there. Whatever. You do what you want, but I feel like we should get the big screen nod. Maybe as the season gets going, we'll get the big screen nod. But look, the only real news that we've had, here it is, and Sean did correct himself. He said, who's going to step up in place of Darius Harris? He meant Smith, and he corrected himself. First of all, I wish his name was Darius Harris. I think that would be cool. If my last name was Harris, I think I might name my kid Darius and just make him go through life that way. But Darius Smith goes down in practice on Tuesday. Jarod, you were there, and I was not there. The feeling kind of pretty quickly seemed to be this might not be very good.
Right. So we were actually in 4-0 field for this practice. We're behind the south goalpost. I'm talking about the media members and a couple of the staff members. And so my attention is faced right. Just they're going through individual drills. So I'm looking at quarterbacks. You're just kind of scanning around because, guys, we've told you we don't see too much.
Seeing who's there.
Yeah, well, I'm taking attendance basically. So I'm looking to the right, looking at quarterbacks. And then I hear murmurs. I just hear people start talking about it looks like his knee or his leg gave out. And so I think he was doing an individual drill. They had something to do. I'm not going to name this player because I don't want somebody to be like, oh, this player got him. It wasn't like that. But the DNs are going through the drills. And I think Smith's leg just buckled in a way that obviously kind of made him sustain the torn ACL. So he's kind of bent over for about a minute or so on the ground. And he had, coaches come around him and then he got assisted help, from a couple staffers also. He was able to walk, and we've seen people with torn ACLs walk. So your first thing is, what exactly happened? Because the way he was bent over, I was thinking, well, in another way, the way he could, is it a rib injury? Like I really couldn't see at all. He was kind of walking gingerly, but again, we've seen people with torn ACLs, Achilles, or whatever, been able to walk off. So you didn't know the extent, but the way they were talking, it was just like, it basically non-contact, and we know what that means.
Yeah, and first off, as far as who's going to step up, the first thing, because immediate reaction online was, "Oh, this means Williams Nwaneri." It doesn't, guys. Like,
No.
I don't really think this changes Williams Nwaneri's playing time, and I've got to be clear. I don't think Missouri has ever looked at him as a kid that they expect to come in and be a major impact on the defensive line as a true freshman. That does not mean he's not a good player. Does not mean he won't become a great player. Defensive end in the SEC as a true freshman is very, very, very rare. He will get on the field some, but I don't think he's in the too deep. I don't think that changes with this. Jarod, you're going to have a story tomorrow. We talked to Eddie Kelly today, so you're going to have a story tomorrow a little bit on some of the guys now that this does mean more for, certainly including Eddie Kelly.
Yeah. So for people who haven't seen Williams play, I watched him play his home opener last season at Lee Summit North. And so the big thing about Williams is, yes, everybody has told us upside potential. I mean, he's a 5-star for a reason, 6'5", 6'6", 265. He has the measurables of an SEC defensive lineman. Thing is, though, when I was watching him play, yeah, he can shut down, a side of the field, basically. But at the same time, he's usually overmatching his opponents by a lot, where he was playing.
Just pure physical.
Yeah. So a lot of times, and I forgot who it was, I think it was Nick DeLoach last week who he said this himself. You go from being the man in high school and being able to win basically off of athleticism to now you're in a league where technique matters. That's why we've seen an improvement from players like Connor Tolleson, where he's kind of undersized, but you got technique, you can improve, obviously, being bigger, the biggest athletes basically in the country helps these guys. But Will is a raw prospect. They won't tell you that, but he is. And so
it's going to take
it's going to take a while. Like Gabe said, don't expect him to be in too deep. He's a 5-star, so he will get some snaps. We've heard a little bit about Jaylen Brown and what he can do. Don't forget him. And just because you're talking about other players at edge, that doesn't mean Williams is not good or he's a bust or any of that other stuff. Other people can just step up.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be more Eddie Kelly, more Joe Moore, maybe some Ja'Kai Lang. And then look, if one of those guys gets hurt or one of those guys they see and it's not good enough, then yes, Williams Nwaneri, Jaylen Brown, you're up, and let's see what can happen. And yeah, Zion Young is going to start. Yeah, Zion Young was going to start before Darius Smith got hurt, I think.
Right, him and Johnny. We didn't mention those two because to us, we know they're starters.
Yes. Yeah. One more question. We're going to get to our draft in a minute, but Ben Winslow wants to know when the first official depth chart is going to come out. My guess is a week from Sunday when they do media day. They will have something in the game notes. Now, how much that matters, how much it reflects what we actually see on the field, who knows? I know, Jarod, part of what you're going to do next week is kind of a 2-day, here's what I think it's going to look like on offense. Here's what I think it's going to look like on defense based on what we've seen and heard over the last month.
Yeah. When we go to open practice on Saturday, we'll
do our best. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll give you kind of clues as to what you should expect, but yeah, game week, they'll have their starters and stuff like that. To be honest, and we were talking about this when we were leaving interviews today, there's not too many positions where I'm just like, I don't know.
I have 0 questions. I think I could name Missouri's 22 starters right now, and I think I'd be right on every single one of them.
The only toss-up
for the Murray State game. Now, it might change, but for the Murray State game, I think I know all 22.
Question: you got Deloach or Pride?
Toriano Pride. I think he'll start the season over.
Okay.
We'll see. I could be wrong, but
I actually thought you was going to say Deloach. So okay, I think we're on the same pacing, but I mean, another thing real quick on that, I was thinking yesterday, going into the season, we kind of thought Norwood and Pride would be automatic starters, and then we'll see who will be number 3, and then that may be Marcus Clark is number 3. If Pride is your CB3, I think you've elevated the floor of your CB room, as opposed to if he's your starter, and then you're kind of, if Deloach is there, you need someone to step up. But if Pride is your number 3, then you've kind of elevated your floor.
I just think if they're equal, you start the older kid who you brought in as a transfer. That's where I'm at. If they're equal, I think the tie goes to Toriano Pride. All right. So the main thing we want to do tonight, we did this. Jarod said we did it in the spring. I forgot it in the spring. We did it last year too. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a player draft here. We're both going to draft a complete starting lineup, starting 11 on both sides of the football, a kicker and a punter. And then what we're stipulating here is that Brady Cook is the quarterback, because if Brady Cook, if you're drafting Brady Cook and then the other guy gets Drew Pine, like that's just a gap that is it skews the team. So Brady Cook's the quarterback for both teams. Blake Craig is the kicker for both teams. We are stipulating that off the bat. When we're leaving media availability today, Jarod asked, "All right, so are we going to do a snake draft?" I said, "Yeah, you get to pick if you want to draft first or second." And he said second, and Jarod, you threw off my whole strategy. This whole thing was based on you picking first, and now I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, here's the thing about I've low-key been thinking, should I have went first? And here's the thing, reacting. So we both, everybody who's on here kind of knows who will be number 1. It's the reaction. And I mean, you better take him at number 1.
Right. That's the thing. At number 1, like I was not going to take him. I was counting on you taking him and then me getting to kind of react to that. I mean, I'm sitting here knowing I have to draft Chuck Hicks number 1 overall, right?
Oh.
But I don't want to do it now. No. So look, I mean, we'll get to it. Luther Burden's the number 1 pick. Like he's got to be, with Brady Cook off the board. He's the best football player on the team. He's one of the best football players in the country. If I'm building a team, even though I don't know if it's the right move for building my full team in this exercise, I've still got to take Luther Burden, and I still want him on my team. So that's my first pick.
All right. So
now Jarod, just to be clear, now Jarod gets 2 picks, and then it'll come back. We're basically each getting 2 picks at a time from here on out.
Okay, on my tab, close that real quick.
And we've got what, 22 picks each to make, I think.
Okay, so
23 maybe.
You take Luther. I'm gonna go ahead and take Marcus Bryant, and I'm gonna go ahead and take Nate Noel.
Okay. You took one of the 2 that I was going to take if I had the second and third picks. Okay. I was going to, my approach, if you took Luther Burden, I was just going to decimate your offensive line, and I was going to take both starting offensive tackles.
I was thinking that was, I was close, but I was thinking, I don't know. I want that.
Yeah.
I get it.
So now the beauty of doing this in a 2-person thing is like Marcus Carroll is now my like 23rd pick. Like I don't have to pick a running back because you already have, right? So I can wait. So look, I'm going Armand Mimbo. I got to have him. He at offensive tackle. So we each have one of the starting offensive tackles. Now I'm between 2 guys here, and I know that you will take at least one of them that I don't take. You might take both of them. I'm going to go, and my reasoning is I think the gap between this guy and the gap between who I can get next is big enough that I'm going Christian Williams here.
Oh, Gabe. That's not who I thought was going to be.
Okay.
The gap between, I guess, are we talking about another defensive tackle?
Yeah, the gap between Christian Williams and the next guy at his position, who I'm going to end up taking, is because now I'm either going to get Chris McClellan and have both starting defensive tackles, but if I don't get Williams, like the gap between him and whoever number 3 is, because I'm not even sure we know who number 3 is. I think that gap was big enough that I needed Christian Williams on my team.
Okay, I can get that.
All right, Sean has a suggestion for you if you want to take it. If you want to draft Logan Reichert and put him at fullback in this round.
Well, I could be like Andy Reid and insert a fullback, and it seems like he's going that route. Maybe I should be a throwback, but I think
you want to draft a rugby player.
We're not. I'm not on the Zam. Yeah, I really haven't seen him. I've heard a lot about him, but I don't know. I need my guys to know what we're doing right now. Right. So, who did you just say again?
I took Mimbo and Christian Williams.
Okay. Got a tricky one for you. I wasn't thinking this. It just kind of popped in my head because of what you said. Let me take Connor Tollison because I don't know who the backup center is on this team.
Okay.
And if y'all thought Tollison had some snap issues, we're going to see what the backup is. So I'll take Tollison. I'll take Johnny Walker.
Okay. That was I had 3 guys in my mind for 2 picks. That was one of them. However, you did not take away the guy that I feared you were going to take away from me.
I have a feeling it's on there. I was hoping I can wait.
And I now have the top 2 receivers on the team because I'm going Theo Weiss.
Yeah, I figured that. Theo Weiss.
I'm putting him with Luther Burden, and I've got the top 2 receivers on the team. I feel pretty good about that. Now it gets tough because I'm very torn on where to go here. And I'm going to come out of left field here. Hey, you're not going to expect this. But again, I think the gap between this guy and the next guy might be the biggest on the team. And I'm going to throw the ball all over the field because I got Brett Norfleet.
Damn. All right. That was it. That was my next guy. So good.
I'm taking Levi Sills' advice. He threw that out there, and I saw that, and I said, you know what? That's pretty good.
No, that's a good one. That was the next pick. Okay, so you got 2 receivers, and you've got
a tight end.
I'm not gonna lie, your team is looking decent. It's looking decent. So
it's not my first rodeo.
Yeah, you've probably been. I need to ask Mitch how many times you guys did this experiment.
I think honestly we only maybe did it once before you got here.
Okay. So I saw someone put this on the board earlier, and I'm gonna still do it because it's probably a little bit of bias because I've been playing the game. But it's speedy. I'm taking Marquise Johnson. I'm gonna get whether we're going side to side, maybe some jet sweep action, or we going deep. I need that on the team. I really was going Brett Norfleet. That kind of stumped me. So,
but the beauty now is you don't have to take a tight end until I'm not taking another one, so you don't have to take a tight end now till the end.
Fair enough. I got to get takeaways. If I got to get takeaways, I'll take Dalen Carnell.
Okay.
I like that he can do a lot of things for me right now. So we go DC.
I like that pick. All right. I am going to I know I can throw the ball all over the field. So apparently all I'm going to do is I'm going to have an amazing offense, and I'm just going to take whoever's left on defense because I've already got Armand Mimbo. I'm going with this high school teammate, Caden Green, and then I'm taking the other guard, and I'm going Cameron Johnson. So I got 3/5 of my offensive line. I got 3 dudes there. I don't know if I can snap it, and I don't know who's going to be my left tackle, but I'm in good shape otherwise.
You're doing well. Okay, so we got Mimbo. Okay, so next pick for me will be. Let's see what we got left here. Okay. Well, if you're going that way, then I feel like I have to play the opposite way. So I'm gonna get Dre Norwood for one of the picks,
Okay.
and then I'll take Zion Young for the other pick. So I can have the top two edge rushers with Darius Smith being hurt. That I feel like that in a way is a nice little gap as of now of what we're seeing in camp.
Yep.
That I can help.
I was definitely going to go there. There's no question. Zion Young was my next pick, so that hurts. So I got to stay defensive line. You've got the two starting outside guys, so I got to get the two starting inside guys. I'm gonna go Chris McClellan, and he's next to Christian Williams. So that's my defensive interior. Now it's pretty interesting here. We have no linebackers, and I think part of that is because like they've got four guys, and I'm not sure there's much separation. I'm not sure who the first two. Like I don't really care who I get there.
Yeah.
If I get the guys who are third and fourth, I don't think the drop off is that big, honestly. So I am trying to decide between one of two things here. I'm not sure who. I only have one more pick, right? I already took McClellan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm just going to finish off my receiving core. I'm going to take Mekhi Miller.
Okay.
There's a lot of receivers there. I'm not sure if that's the right move because, like, Mookie's still there. I think Josh Manning's going to have a decent year, but I'm going to go ahead and add Mekhi Miller as my third receiver.
And thank you for making the pick for me because now, again, I can wait till a little bit later to get one of those guys. So, all right. So you've done a lot of work for me because based off the picks you've made.
We're kind of opposite on the board at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, you've made kind of some of my picks for me based off. So I'm gonna go. Let me get. I want Marvin Burks. I honestly expect him to be the team starting free safety, and if he's not, he'll still play a big role. Trevez Johnson played, I think, maybe less than 100 snaps less than Joe Charleston, who was a starter last year. So, I mean, he's going to play big regardless. So I'll take him. Might as well get the other cornerback, and so I'll take Toriano Pride. So. Yeah, you can have the receivers. I'll try to make sure I've got the defense.
You got to cover them.
Yeah.
We're honestly almost exactly opposite now. I was going to take Pride if you didn't. So like other than linebacker, like it's just kind of filling in holes here. So I got to make sure I get the other starting safety. I want Joseph Charleston because I think we're pretty clear it's probably going to be him and Marvin Burks, right? And then, well, we don't have the other offensive tackle yet. That's the only spot where we're both sitting without anybody. Now, really, I'm not sure which guy I should take because I think the next two guys are probably pretty similar at that spot. I'm going to go ahead and take Javen Richardson because I think he's more likely to play on the left side. So I'll take him. But honestly, the other offensive tackle that I assume you'll end up with, I think is pretty close. And I'm not sure there's much of a difference there. Sean is asking if we are counting Dalen Carnell as a safety or a small linebacker. He is counting on my sheet as the star. Like that's what it is in this, and like Trevez Johnson's going to be my guy there eventually at some point.
Right. So, and I'm trying to think of the offensive tackle you were talking about because I'm trying to think, is he still getting offensive tackle snaps or is he truly a guard?
Depends on which one you're talking about. I have a guy in my mind, but I don't know who you're thinking of. So
I got to see what you got left. Okay, well, I'm going to take him just because I don't want this guy to be running over my guy. So I'm going to take Logan Reichert, put him somewhere on the offensive line.
Okay, he's a guard right now, so we're putting him as one of your offensive guards.
Right. See. Let's see. I still need. Okay, I've got a tackle in there. Okay, I got Marcus Bryant. Okay. Other offensive linemen. You took both of them. Are we talking about Mitch Walters?
Yeah, Mitch Walters is the other guy that I think is the second string tackle.
Okay. I feel like I know he played right tackle during 2022. I feel like there was moments where he played guard as well. And maybe my mind is messed up and he didn't, but I feel like at times he may have played that a little bit. But yeah, I'll take Mitch Walters. And from not even just this year, but last year, I was even hearing, he's improved some. And so now it's been 2 years since he was really playing a lot. And so they're much happier with Mitch Walters. And it seems like every time the offensive line thing comes up, they'll talk about the starters and they're like, and Mitch Walters and Logan Reichert and Tristan or whatever they're saying. They always bring Mitch Walters into it.
All right, so I'm finally going to go linebacker here. I'm going to go with, again, we got 4 guys. I don't know which 2 are going to start. I'm not sure there's much separation. I think the guy with the highest upside there is Tristan Newsom. He's my first linebacker off the board. That's who I'm going with. And then, look, I still need 2 defensive ends. So give me Joe Moore for one of those spots.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got your 2 right there. I still need linebackers. I still need 2 interior defensive linemen. So I'll go ahead and get my linebackers while I still kind of have a choice. I'll take. Oof.
It's tough. We don't know who's going to start there.
Okay. I'll take Chuck Hicks and I'll take Corey Flagg, and I'll tell you why. Corey Flagg is typically a Mike, just like Chuck Hicks, so it means one of them is wearing the green dot. However, linebacker coach DJ Smith said one of the things he likes about Corey Flagg, besides he's being a hard hitter, he can play both spots. So I can have him play my will, and it should be fine.
Yeah, I'm going to have a super athletic linebacking core whenever I eventually end up taking Khalil Jacobs. I'm not going to do that quite yet because, I don't need to. The only place where we both have an opening besides punter, and I've refused to draft a punter yet, is safety. So basically what I'm looking for here is the third safety. I think, I'm not sure about it. I think it's going to be Sidney Williams. And so that's who I'll go with. I'll take Sidney Williams to start next to Joseph Charleston because I think you're right. I think Burks is the guy. I think he's a starter. And so I've got Williams as the third guy there.
You got one more pick?
This is, man, I've exhausted all my energy on the one. All right, so let's go.
A couple corners.
Yeah, I need a linebacker. I need 2 corners. I need defensive end. And a star. Give me Trevez Johnson as the star, because at this point it doesn't really matter the order we draft in, because like every position I don't have, you already have. So now it's just a matter of filling in names.
Well, here's the thing though, and that's something I was thinking as soon as with the last pick I had, I kind of had the choice of, do you want to get your choice of remaining linebackers or safeties? And I was going to take Trevez next. So I'm glad you seen that one.
Oh, you were going to put him at the other safety spot. I got you.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So for me, I still got 2 wide receiver spots, a tight end, offensive tackle, 2 defensive lineman spots. So I can get one of these defensive lineman spots up, and I'll put Sterling Webb, who right now seems like the DT3 on the team. And then after that, okay, got 2 tackles, guarding. Hold on, this can't be right. Okay, I was about to say there's no way Caden Green is on the board. Okay.
No, okay. I got Caden Green.
Okay. Who's another interior? Brian Thompson Walsh.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look at our scholarship chart to see who the other guard is. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's probably Curtis Piegler. You know,
Yeah. Because right now, when I think offensive line group, I think about 8 deep. Got about
yeah,
8 guys that they're fond of. So did I just make a pick already? I picked Sterling Webb. Then
yeah,
I'll
you
go
got
ahead. I'll go ahead and take uh, Mookie Cooper.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we're just filling in spots here at this point. For the most part. All right, I need a corner, so I'll go Nick DeLoach. I'm pretty confident at this point he's the third cornerback, and I'm going to throw you a curveball here. I'm finally ready to do it. There's only one spot where we both haven't picked anybody, and when I get in 4th and 14, I need a guy back there that can throw the football. So Luke Bauer is my punter on this team.
Oh, Gabe,
That's the tiebreaker for me. I have not seen a single punt. I have no idea if Luke Bauer or Ryan Phillips is better or in the lead. All I know is Luke Bauer can throw the football, and I want him to be my punter.
Okay, so Gabe is drafting a little early on the basis that he may use a trick play one time during the season.
And it may turn my entire season around, and I may end up 11-2 and beating Ohio State because my punter is a good passer. I'm just saying.
All right, okay.
Just saying.
All right.
And you, like, you might have beautiful hair at punter, but you might try to throw that pass and it might not work, and you might end up 7-6.
Well,
and
here's
you
the
might end up
thing.
playing in the Gasparilla Bowl.
I'll tell you this: if I'm asking Orion Phillips to throw passes on 4th down, I should be fired. That's what we need to get to. So you don't have to worry about me.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm telling Luke Bauer, you go out there, Luther down there somewhere. You just throw it.
Oh, now we're getting Luther on special teams, and now God forbid he gets hurt. God forbid he gets hurt because you want to play these games, Gabe.
I'm trying to win a national title here.
All right, next pick. I still got one more wide receiver spot. I need a little bit of size, and he seems like he's been having the best camp, and that's maybe barely. I just keep hearing his name the most. It's going to be Josh Manning. So
I almost took him as my third wide receiver.
Yeah. So I forgot. I was talking to someone else the other day, and we were basically saying Joshua Manning seems like he's going to develop into the Theo Weiss role. 6'1", 6'2" receiver, can catch the jump balls and maybe be that red zone threat. And the way they're talking about him in camp, it seems like it's increasingly hard to keep him off the field. That doesn't mean he's going to play a lot of reps, but he's going to play a lot more than, I think he played maybe 33 last year. It's going to get a lot more than that. So I'm going to take Joshua Manning with 1. We just said Curtis Piegler. I'm still not, just because I haven't looked at the scholarship chart yet. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the other safety or defensive lineman.
Okay.
I guess we'll go Marquise Gracio.
Okay. I think he's DT4 at this point.
And the thing about, even though we do feel like there's a little gap between the starters and second string, when it comes to this position group, DT4 is basically a starter still. He's not going to be that far off in snaps from Christian Williams or McClellan. So,
all right. So I need a center, and look, I'm not 100% sure that he is the backup center, but Tristan Wilson was taking snaps there earlier this camp.
right.
That's who I'm taking for my center. I put him there. I still need a defensive end. Eddie Kelly's going to be in the rotation, so I got Eddie Kelly and Joe Moore. I've got the backup defensive ends right now. Like I think if I've got a vulnerability, I think that's where it's at.
All right. Okay. Where I got tight end, offensive guard, and safety. So I'll go.
You still need a punter, man.
Yeah. I'll do a wild card because this is fake. This is all fake. I know who I want to pick, but I actually haven't seen this much of him in fall camp for various reasons. But I've heard a lot about this other guy. I'm gonna take Caleb Flagg as my third
Okay.
safety. Right now, I think there's at least six deep on the safety group. He's kind of seven, and not only did he do well in spring, I keep hearing his name now.
So you're basically at this point taking Caleb Flagg over Philip Roche, who, I mean, look, man, if he hears the draft, he's going to drive over to your house to complain, and watch out, he can get there in about 3.2 seconds.
It would have, of course, been Philip Roche, but him, I feel like he's maybe missed a practice or so, and then he's got
he was suspended for that one day.
Yeah, so I haven't really seen that on top of what I've heard about Caleb Flagg. Honestly, there's a actual real chance he can be in the rotation or maybe find a special teams role.
That's interesting. I would not have had him on there. Okay,
and I honestly wouldn't be surprised down the line. Maybe he's one of those walk-ons who gets a scholarship at some point.
Yeah.
Was that two?
All right. No, you got one more left.
Did I pick Manning the last round or this round?
I don't know.
I got two.
I'm just giving you another pick.
I got 2 picks left, so that means it's your turn.
No, you got 3 picks left because you don't have a punter yet.
Okay. I'm gonna still let it be your turn, Gabe.
Okay, good enough. All right. Well, I need a linebacker. I'm going Khalil Jacobs. He's going to play. And then cornerback's kind of interesting, right? Like, I'm not sure. Like, at the beginning of camp, I think I might have picked Jamarian Wayne, but like, is he back at practice yet?
Haven't seen him. He's missed.
Yeah.
He's kind of racking them up, and I don't know if Drink.
It's been at least a week.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a minute. And even then, I don't remember hearing too much about him since media day, like the first one, like before camp. So I don't know.
So I'm going youth here. I know Marcus Clark's there. I'm going youth here. And I'm trying to decide between Cameron Keys.
Trajan Greco.
No. Every time I look out on the field, I look at Shamar McNeil and I think that dude looks like a player. But I just haven't heard it enough. So I'm going to go with the only true freshman in the draft. Cornerback Cameron Keys is on my team.
Okay.
And I don't think it's a great pick because I don't really believe he is cornerback 4 on this team. And want to say appreciate Freeway Jarod tossing us the super chat. Jarod, you're here every week, man. We really appreciate it. And I do want to reiterate, we're never going to ask you guys for super chats. But hey, we've got some sponsors for some of these shows and everything. But if you want to throw it in there, we'll always get your comment on the screen. We'll always make sure to shout you out and thank you for being a part of the broadcast. So, Jarod, we do appreciate that, man. So, what do you think of the Cameron Keys pick?
Okay,
Dom?
so no, it's a reach because I would have still taken Marcus Clark, who I believe he's got the experience. He's the only player, I think the only cornerback at least, who had multiple interceptions last year.
Like, I legitimately may have just picked a guy on my team that's going to redshirt.
Yeah, and so we've heard a lot about Cameron Keys, but that's kind of part of fall camp. And so back to your Shamar McNeil thing. Here's my thing on him. I remember in spring, Al Poe, that's the cornerbacks coach, he said something and he was talking about McNeil, and I think he's talking about Deloach and something. But what he said about McNeil is there's still some things he's not really done right to their standard, and we hear that every single day. It wasn't to certain. Now, obviously, that's a long time ago. That's spring ball. It doesn't mean anything. But you're right. We've heard more about Cameron Keys and Trajan Greco. That's why I brought him up. Than I've heard about Shamar McNeil at all of fall camp. So not crazy, but also with Marcus Clark there, because now when I see Cameron Keys on the field, although he's fast, he's not Marquise Johnson. And so
I just tell Nick Deloach to cover everybody. It's cool.
All right, so I got tight end and
I got Khalil Jacobs back there in coverage coming up.
Okay, tight end. I know what I want to do, but it's not smart because of where he is in his career. And I feel like
I know what you got to do.
So
I know what you got to do.
I will take Tyler Stevens, who I think is
he's going to be the second tight end.
Yes, he is. Had a good interview today. We like that. Yep. Well, you know what I want to do. What I want to do is put Jude James out there, have him in that speed, and he stands out obviously because he's the smallest tight end, but he's really quick.
I think Nate Noel would be upset with you for putting Jude James there rather than Tyler Stevens. I think Nate Noel wants more blocking.
As much as he can get, and Jude James' body, of course, is just not there yet for that. And then offensive guard, we said Peagler. I'm really trying to think, is there anybody, and not there's something wrong with Curtis Peagler, but I'm trying to make sure I'm not skipping over anybody who's obvious.
I don't think you're really missing anybody. I mean, there's Drake Heismeyer, but I think he's more of a center, you know.
So yeah, I'll just round it out with Curtis Peagler, and then yeah, I'll put
you can go ahead and take but you can have 3 picks and take your punter this round.
Yeah, and your last one, it will obviously be Marcus Carroll.
My last one is running back Austin Dendy. No, my last one is running back Marcus Carroll. No question about it. So all right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can screenshot this and get it in the broadcast real quick. I don't honestly know if this is going to work, but we'll take a shot at it. So I feel pretty good about my team, man. I'm not going to lie. I think I did pretty well here.
I think so too. I mean, you definitely have the most names that just pop out when someone says, name some Tigers for me or name some impact players. That offense, it's really going.
All right, so I've got our teams up on the screen. It's not perfect, guys. I just did it real quick on the fly, but we both, let's just go position by position, right? We both got Brady Cook, so that's a tie. Marcus Carroll, Nate Noel, I think you have the starting running back, but honestly, I was shocked you took Nate Noel that early because I don't think the gap is probably all that big.
I was thinking more so of how much speed can I get on the field in a way? I want to get some stuff going, but then there was that Brett Norfleet one. Really, it jammed me up a little bit.
Yeah, so I got Burden, Weiss, and Miller. You've got Johnson, Cooper, and Manning. I think that's edge me, right?
Yes.
And okay.
Tight end,
edge me. Offensive line, Mimbo, Richardson, Green, Johnson, Wilson. You've got Bryant, Walters, Reichert, Peagler, and Tollison. I mean, I've got 3 starters. You've got 2. It's close. I was a little bummed out. I really was looking forward to picking second and just taking Marcus Bryant and Armand Mimbo. And I think that would have been pretty great. I don't know. That's pretty close there.
I think it's close. The only argument I can make for myself is I know I have a true center, and then Logan Reichert, Mitchell Walters. We've heard a lot about how well they're doing. So, I mean, that could be it. But again, you do have 3 starters, and then Javen Richardson, he was taking first team snaps.
It's close enough to maybe go either way. There's not a huge difference. All right. Defensive line, you've got both starting defensive ends, and I've got both starting defensive tackles. So I don't know. That's kind of a push, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a push. I'm trying to think of what would the matchups be. So it'd be Christian Williams and McClellan facing Tollison, Peagler, and Reichert. And then
I feel pretty good about that.
Opposite, it'd be Richardson and Mimbo.
Richardson's in Green against Young and Walker.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Linebacker, look, complete toss-up. We don't know. Safety, secondary, you've got the edge at secondary because I think you've got 4 of the 5 starters in the secondary on your team.
Right.
If you include Dalen Carnell as secondary.
Yes, I do personally, at least. The only thing I'd say about the linebacker position is, though, you don't have a true Mike. I don't think, if memory serves, I don't think Khalil Jacobs was
I just have guys that are going to run sideline to sideline. They're going to wreck everything.
Now, here's the thing. When they're getting the calls and don't know what to do with it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure these guys, all of them can handle it.
Right.
But yeah, I went to get double mics, basically.
I mean, I thought we'll post this on the board after the show and let people vote. But I think the clear difference here is I'm going to win because Luke Bauer is going to throw a touchdown pass. If these teams play, Luke Bauer is the difference in these teams with this passing.
I'm not going to lie. I think my defense, the defense I feel comfortable with, even defensive tackles because of how they do the thing, the rotation. But I can't lie. I mean, having Cook,
Loading up with
Burton,
Norfleet and Weiss in that round
Norfleet.
really big for me.
Yeah, that's big. And then even Carroll, I mean, probably, yeah, it's probably a little reach, but I was trying to do something very specific early on. So I think you get a Marcus Carroll, somebody who was top 10 in the country in rushing. Like that's not the regular second string running back. So I think I'm not even gonna lie for you, Ray J. He did a decent job.
But hey, let's be honest. If we did this last year, I'm not sure Cody Schrader was the first running back pick. It
wasn't
at this time last year. It is entirely possible I would have picked Nate Pete before I picked Cody Schrader.
Absolutely not.
It's possible.
No. Because remember, week 8 when Nate Pete fumbles versus Vanderbilt in the red zone, and I feel like he just went on a hiatus. We didn't see him. That's when Cody Schrader started getting the ball rolling.
I'm just saying, I wasn't sold.
Oh, well, yeah, we remember you, Gabe.
I wasn't sold. So there is a chance that
Yeah.
There is a chance that Joshua Manning leads this team in receiving and your team is better than mine. I don't think it's very likely.
Well, here's the thing though. I will say, like I said, Cam Keys, he's I heard heavy hitter. He's one of the fastest players on the team, but as long as Marcus Bryant can hold up that left side and I'm just gonna throw that fade route like it's NCAA to Marquise every time. Or if we get into the red zone, Joshua Manning on camera. I like Josh right now, but you've definitely got you got to.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'll post that on the board and just kind of let people look at what we came up with. It's just kind of a fun exercise to pass the time during a slow week. The good news is, hey, they're all going to be on the same team. So that you don't have to pick. But like somebody said, hey, Brendan said they have a legitimate 2 deep, and that's a good thing. Like we're not getting down to the 4th defensive end and going, hell, I don't know, give me some freshman I never heard of. Like they've got guys, I think, at almost every position, which leads to a lot of enthusiasm. So next week camp's going to kind of wrap up. We'll be back. I don't know. I don't know exactly the schedule next week. We'll kind of figure out what's going on next week, and then we'll get into game week. I'll have a show with an opponent. Somebody covers the opponent every week. Jarod and I will do State of the Tigers once a week. Bringing back the post game shows thanks to our friends at Yingling. So all kinds of stuff here on the YouTube channel for you all season long. Spread the word. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, do all that. If you're listening on the podcast, same thing. Jarod, I don't know, man.
One more thing for you. I like to tell everyone, Gabe, I do feel like, I'm not typically when it comes to fantasy drafts, it's not about drafting for me. I'm a trader. I know you heard me playing while we was waiting for drink the other day. You heard me doing my fantasy draft. The ESPN thing went due to made the noise.
Right.
But listen, I'm a trader, y'all. When we get so maybe I can get Gabe to trade me some of these players, and
you go scour that waiver wire. We'll do this again next week. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We will talk to you next time.